What's up, Endurifiers? This is Mario, and I'm back with another episode of Endurify. And first, just to give you all an update, I am actually recording this podcast from Ogalla, Nebraska, which is about 8 hours away from where I live in North Liberty, Iowa, and I'm about 4 hours away from our end destination of Silverthorne, Colorado. So Emily and I and Ellie and our dog Wally, we are on a road trip, and we're going to be spending the next couple of weeks in Colorado. So we have a wedding that's coming up in a couple of weeks, and we're able to work remotely. So we're going to be, kind of hanging out and seeing what it's like living in Colorado in the summer. And so it's something that we've always wanted to do, and we're going for it. So the road trip went pretty well, honestly. Ellie was a champ. She slept for a couple hours in the morning. We stopped and got lunch. And right as Emily and I are talking about it, we were like, I asked her, how do you think the road trip is going so far? She goes, honestly, I don't think it could go any better than it has. And things were going super smoothly. And then about 15 minutes later, we're driving, and I was just like, hey, Em, do you smell that? She's like, yeah, I definitely smell that too. And it was Ellie in the back, and it was a poop. So it was a pretty stinky one, and we were trying to get her to take an afternoon nap. So we had to pull over, change her diaper, and that's when I heard Emily in the backseat go, Mario, I need some backup. And this was a blowout, and it was quite the blowout, even to the point where it was kind of coming out of her diaper, out the sides. And I have a super weak stomach, so when I saw it, I started gagging. Then I look into one of my shoes, one of my favorite pairs of shoes that I'm going to wear at the wedding in a couple of weeks, and I saw a small little turd just sitting and resting in my shoe. So my daughter pooped so much out her diaper that it fell into my shoe as Emily was taking her out to change her diaper. But we changed the diaper, we got through it, and we arrived at kind of like our first destination, just kind of staying at a random hotel off the interstate, and we'll get up and we'll cruise tomorrow and get to Colorado. So that was a little bit of an experience. But one of the things that we were doing during our road trip, during our drive, is we have what we call just like a quarterly review. So, in the business world, it's really common to, have different kind of retrospective meetings and kind of, quarterly planning and quarterly review, where you kind of look back on the past 3 months and just evaluate kind of what things went well, what things didn't go well, and you start to make some plans going forward. So Emily and I have started this practice. We've done it for a couple of years, honestly, where I just have a calendar invite that's set up on the first day of the quarter, and it's just a quarterly review. And that's an opportunity for us to talk about our relationship and talk about what did we do over the previous 3 months, what things went well, and what do we need to do moving forward to continue to improve and build on our relationship. And so I want to walk through that process today because, if you're listening to this podcast, you want to become the best version of yourself, not just in endurance, but I imagine you have some pretty important relationships. And this is a tool that I use to continue to develop my relationship with my wife, which is, the most important thing to me. So basically what we do first is I was driving, so I wasn't able to do this, but we usually just look back at our pictures in our iPhone from the past 3 months and just kind of relive the things that we did. So you go back and, it's pretty amazing to see all of the things that we've accomplished, all of the different fun experiences. And I would encourage you to do that because without that, you don't really realize everything that you've done. And so going back previously through your pictures and kind of talking about, the different experiences that you have, and, that might spark like some conversations like, oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot that we did that. And that was so much fun. We should do that again, that type of a thing. And so you go through our pictures, and then we just have a quick conversation, like what stands out to you about the past 3 months. And for us, we've done a lot. I've had a friend's bachelor party, I had a friend's wedding, I did my half Ironman. We came back from South Carolina and Florida with my parents. Ellie turned 1. I have been coaching a couple of different clients. I got certified as a life coach. There's just been all of this positive. I ran 3 different challenges. I coached tons of people in their first half Ironman. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on, and it's really surprising. And so we just have a quick conversation about what stands out to you. And kind of the main thing that stood out to me was a lot of times when you're in the day-to-day, you don't feel like you're making a lot of progress. But when you look back on all of the things that, I've accomplished and that we've accomplished, it's pretty impressive. It's a long, impressive list. So that was the first thing that stood out to me. Another thing that stood out to me is that I feel like my life is pretty well balanced right now, from, quality time with my wife, quality time with my daughter, things at work, things with my business, and things with like my friends. I feel like I was really able to, balance those different buckets and different areas of my life. And, we had a quick conversation about that. Then after, you kind of just replay the previous 3 months, we have a conversation about, what things went well and what did that other person do well. So I acknowledged Emily for supporting me with everything that she's done. I also encouraged her for, putting herself first and going to see some of her friends. And we have a quick conversation about that. From there, we talk about what are some things that we can do just to improve our relationship in the next 3 months. So that's where we start to have a conversation around, well, we didn't really, with all of these things going on and all of the travels that we had and all of the friends' trips, we didn't prioritize as much time with each other as we would maybe like. We did have a couple of kind of date nights. We had a couple of, events and things that we did together. But we want to be a little bit more intentional with that. So we started to talk about what would that look like? When would that be? And we picked Thursday nights as a good night for us. So, we talk through all different types of things and basically what are all the ways that we can improve. And then we also talk about different, categories, in terms of our relationship, our finances, our experiences, different things like that. And by the end of it, you basically have a good feel for, what did you do the previous 3 months? What are some things that you did well? What are some things that you can kind of proactively improve upon as a couple? And then what are some potential action items and things that you want to do? Even after that, we started to talk about, what would it look like to have an awesome, Q3? What would it look like to have an awesome, next 3 months of our lives? And we started to play out a couple of different weekends and things that are going on. And we do this just to try and be proactive with our time, proactive with our events, and proactive with our relationship. And that is kind of basically the process where we start to, look at those next 3 months. What do we already have? What do we want to do? Is there anything else that we want to prioritize? And we just kind of go from there. So that's really just kind of like our quarterly review that we use to reflect on and improve our relationship. And so just wanted to share that with you because it's top of mind. It's something that I did with Emily this morning as we're kind of hit, on the open road and talking through that. And, I feel like this is something that can help a lot of people. So, bringing it back to you, it's early July at the time of this recording, and 2021 is halfway over. You've got 6 months left in 2021. So, this is a good time to reflect on the previous 3 months and even the previous half of the year, the first 6 months of the year, and then also look ahead to the next 3 months, the next 6 months. What do you want to accomplish, at work? What do you want to accomplish in your business? What type of a person do you want to show up as in your relationships? This is the perfect time to start to ask and answer some of those questions. And I hope that this process and this tool is something that can help with that. So that is what I have for today. And I hope that helps. I'll talk to y'all later.